Hey, everybody. This week on the Play Ready Golf podcast, we are going to dive into your decisions, your practice, and improvements we can make off the tee, the driver, maybe the most important club in the bag. After listening this week, we will have a specific plan for practicing your driver on the range. We're going to learn about better targets. We're going to learn about a better thought process, which will lead to better tee shots. Who wouldn't want that? From a +5 to a 25 handicap, you will take something away from today's topic. So for even more discussion on improvements off the tee, keep listening along. Everybody, welcome to the Play Ready Golf Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the driver, how it's the most daunting club in the bag. It's our longest club. A lot of times it's the most expensive club. So, we always want to do the best we can with it. There's a million options out there. And so a lot of times we find ourselves hitting tee shots, missing tee shots, and it's ultimately ruining our rounds. It's ultimately costing us a lot of shots. With it being one of the hardest clubs in the bag, we're going to talk about today some simple approaches that's going to help you stripe it off the tee, help you shoot lower scores. And what we're really excited, Isaac and I, is that we're going to be starting a 4-part series that's going to tackle every single club in your bag. It's going to start with the driver today, and then next week we're going to talk about irons, so your approach play, and then we'll go wedges and then putters as the fourth of the 4-part series. But the series is ultimately geared to building the right habits with every club, making good decisions, being very specific on what we can improve upon. So if we're going to be specific today, we're going to be specific about the driver, off the tee in general, but the driver specifically, because a lot of times, look, we're hitting driver. But enough about that. Who are we? Who's talking right now? If you didn't watch last week, my name is Hayden. I'm a professional golfer trying to make it on the PGA Tour.
And I'm Isaac. I spent almost a decade in golf equipment, golf fitting, and now I've just got 9 to 5 that I love, but I still love getting better at golf, and that's the whole goal of Play Ready Golf, is to help time crunch golfers get better with their time and their resources so that they can practice efficiently and effectively to play better golf. So that's us. Hayden, you've got a little different background today.
I do.
Could you catch me up on why that might be?
Different background, different location. I haven't moved. So playing professional golf, got to be somewhere warm. And it's been a multiple year-long process. But I'm in South Carolina, Charleston specifically. And I don't know what the weather up in Ohio is. That's where Isaac's calling from. I don't know what the weather up in Ohio is like, but I'm pumped. I've been outdoor practicing recently, practicing on Bermuda, different grass types. But it's been going really, really, really good. Isaac, tell me about you. I know you're here now, but you were in Florida last week, right?
Yeah, we were in Florida for about 10 days visiting my in-laws. Love spending time with them. Love spending Christmas with them. Got to hit balls outside twice, and I had to play once. So I went to the range twice, played once. It was kind of like it was a sweet spot for me. Like, it wasn't too much. What was it? But it was just enough to scratch the itch and get some content that we've been rolling out, and we will continue to roll out. But yeah, was able to glean a lot from that since I've been hitting indoors for, I don't know, 2 months, month and a half leading into that trip as my primary practice. And so being able to hit off of grass again, and especially down there, we're just outside Tampa, so it's very grainy, and this time of year it's very sand based. And so like, it's the easiest thing in the world is to chunk a semi-full wedge shot. Like, just not just chunk, like go literally underneath the golf ball.
Yeah, like divots going further than the golf ball.
Oh yeah, and so I think it did two things for me. One, it validated a lot of the things that I have been doing from an off the tee standpoint, and from a what I'm trying to do with creating more shots in my practice with my approach. Like, my approach was really solid. My driver was when I played, it was good. It was good enough. Like, it was I would say about where I left off. Was able to hit some cuts a little easier, which is what I was kind of going for. But then, yeah, wedges need to be a priority moving forward for sure. I putted weirdly well. I was very proud of how I putted. But wedges need some work. Contact, I think it's easy to get away with stuff in the winter. So I need to start developing, like, okay, what are some good habits I can build off of mats so that I don't fall back into that, like, hitting half an inch behind the ball trap. So that's about it for me.
That's the breakdown. I love it. That's great. Well, it's a good transition too, because you did talk about driver, was something that you were still pretty surprised at. It was all right, serviceable. But today we're going to talk about driver to introduce the topic of driver and a couple of topics that we're going to be diving into on this podcast. We're actually going to play a little game. It's called Birdies and Bogeys. Okay, so it's a little on the nose. It's pretty golf centric, but the rules are simple. I'm going to introduce a little topic, maybe a preconceived notion, maybe a thought that people already have. And you're going to tell me if it's a birdie. So birdie's good. We like it. If it's a bogey, maybe not the best. We're going to avoid doing those sorts of things. We're thinking that way. And so, yeah, you ready for it? You ready?
Born ready.
Let's do it. All right. First topic, distance matters more than accuracy, birdie or bogey?
My divot repair tool, one of the sides, says findable and hittable. And so if it is findable and hittable and it went further than it would have, I'm absolutely on board with distance matters more than accuracy.
All right, interesting. Okay, birdie. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Shorter in the fairway is better than longer in the rough. I think we pretty much answered that one.
I'm going to come back to my findable and hittable. Yeah, but I will give that a bogey in general.
Okay, interesting. We'll talk about that more. Only good players need to be fit for their driver.
I'm going to give this a triple bogey, couple in the water kind of deal. I would make the argument the other way, actually. I would make the argument that worse players, the urgency for getting equipment that fits your swing is higher because higher level players have a better understanding of how to change their swing and their setup to match the environment than a higher handicapper might.
Okay, there we go. Triple bogey. We're a lot over par right now. Confidence matters more than mechanics. Birdie or bogey?
I'm going to give this one a birdie. You can play really good golf with a really ugly golf swing.
That's what I would do too. Yep. If you can't control your driver, you're better off taking it out of the bag. Birdie or bogey?
I'm torn on this
one.
Par
is an option, but we want to choose birdie or bogey.
I'm gonna give this one a birdie purely for to talk about the confidence thing.
Yeah.
We're going right back to that. We just findable and hittable. What can you swing as hard as you want with freely? Yeah. So I'm gonna give that one a birdie, but that one's a nuanced one.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about it more. It can be golfer dependent. If your 3-wood only goes 15 yards shorter than your driver and you feel more confident with that, swing away. All right. Just a couple more. My mental approach off the tee is crucial to hitting fairways.
Birdie.
Easy. Most amateur golfers would gain more distance by swinging slower, not by swinging faster.
I'm going to give it a birdie. I think we're diving into that one later. I'm excited about that.
I'm excited for that one too. And then we're just going to do 3 more. You can fix most driver issues without changing your swing.
I'm going to give this a birdie. We're talking swing. We're not talking setup. We're talking swing. I'm going to give that a birdie.
Awesome. 2 more. Most golfers practice driver the least, but they use it the most.
I'm going to give this one a bogey.
I was thinking that one too.
I would say most golfers almost practice driver the most and use it the least.
Yep.
Now drive for show, putt for dough has been proven to be incorrect, but still, we need to put some more work in for something that's going to set us up off every single hole.
Yep. All right. Last one. Fairways hit is an overrated stat.
Birdie. Amen.
Birdie. We don't need the fairways, at least in the way that you're thinking about. Findable, hittable is good. Okay, so let's dive into the driver. So why is the driver so frustrating? What are the things about driver that make us just be like, oh my gosh, I want to improve on this. I want to be the best driver of the golf ball or the best off the tee as I possibly can, or I just want to be serviceable. Look, other parts of my game are solid. If I could just solve, or if I could have some consistency, some right mental approaches, or even right habits off the tee, I feel like I could be better. This podcast is going to be for you today. Okay. So a lot of times though, what we think about off the tee is we really just go straight to the mechanical aspects of our swing. Oh, I'm coming over the top. Oh, I'm doing this. I'm not releasing it, and I'm releasing too much. Whatever mechanical thing that you think of, or the swing thought that you have over the golf ball. Okay, sometimes those are great to do, and those are great to do on the range, and great to do in practice. But when we think about lowering scores, we think about being the best that we can be off the tee. We might need to start having different approaches. Okay. So sometimes it's the big slice. Sometimes it's only getting the ball airborne every third hole, or knowing this might be one that relates to Isaac and I, or knowing that the big miss is coming. For me, for a long time, it was the big right miss. And it was something I was just like, oh, when's it coming? I'm hole 15. We haven't seen it. Is it 16, 17, or 18? Is it coming in? There's a lot of more things about driver that make it one of the most difficult things. Isaac was talking about fitting, talking about people need to be fitted. I mean, it's really, really important.
Yeah, I mean, driver is the most difficult club in the bag to hit for a couple reasons. Number one, it's the longest. And the longer an item is, the more timing is going to be required, the more precise your timing is going to be required to square it up. Number two, it's got the least amount of loft on it outside of putter, but
Yep.
it's got the least amount of loft on it, which also means that timing is now a premium. So you actually have less time with a driver than you do with a wedge to square it up. And we're swinging it the fastest. And then one underrated part of this, so all that, okay, automatically it's the hardest club to hit in the bag. Well, let's add in that it's sitting on a tee.
Yeah.
And the ground for irons or wedges or even fairway wood, the ground is a stabilizer.
Yeah.
The ground allows you can use the ground to square your face up. And most golfers do that even subconsciously. That's why we get fit for lie angle and all that good stuff. So driver doesn't have the benefit of being able to get stabilized at impact. So
Right.
we've got all these things that are working against us, which puts an even bigger premium on consistency off the tee. That's why you'll hear I'm a huge fan of one shot off the tee with driver. And if you need
one shot
like
shape, one shot shape.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it is such a difficult club to hit from a fitting perspective, from a mental perspective. You don't necessarily have a flag that you're aiming at.
Yeah.
Hole design changes every single hole is different, right? We're not playing on a level playing field, an equal playing field every single time.
Yeah.
Whereas it's about, you were going to talk about free throws in a little bit, but like every basketball course is the same effectively, right? At every level. But
Yeah.
it's a 10-foot rim that off the tee, especially, like it is very different, and you've got to be able to visualize that shot really well. And
we're not even talking about the tee boxes. They can be not perfectly level and flat. The range is sometimes hopefully perfectly level and flat. Those are a lot of things. Absolutely. And so Isaac, then just dive in, because we got our own personal journeys with drivers that very much open up and shed tons of light on how this can be such a difficult club.
Yeah, and like you said, ranges are not built to practice driver, and I'm really excited for your thoughts on that. But I was quoted as being a generationally bad driver of the golf ball in college, and actually, I brought some stats. We're a few years removed from that, but I did jump back into the old stats portal just to see. One round that sticks out to me: Cog Hill. I hit 14 greens, shot 74,
Solid.
and was negative 6.5 strokes gained off the tee.
Oh. Do you remember off the top of your head how many penalty strokes that was in that round?
I want to say it was 3 or 4.
Yeah.
On like 3, and I hit 14. I basically hit a green every single time that I was in play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof. Next event that came to mind, I went 72, 72, 72 up in Findlay, Ohio at Findlay Country Club.
Findlay Country Club. I've heard many people say underrated golf course.
Love that golf course.
Severely underrated.
Shot even par with 36% of fairways.
Ooh.
And 5 penalty strokes.
Ooh.
Off the tee. So driver was a little bit of an issue for me in college. We've worked our way out of it. We've got some things here in 2 minutes that we're going to be talking about that are going to help you get out of it if you're in that same rut.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes back to the findable, hittable mentality for me. Just like, man, hit something hard and hit it on property, and it'll probably be fine. Like, I can't get too specific with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've played enough scrambles. Isaac is also not revealing. Isaac pounds the ball, goes forever. And so we've played enough scrambles or events together where if I can just put one out and play, I can really lean on Isaac to try to get one. And if it doesn't go where we're looking for, it's a scramble, it's fine. But yeah, for me, my driver has been somewhat the same, been a boomer bust mentality. I would say of the 4 stat categories, driving is probably the one that I've struggled with the most. I don't nearly hit it as far, but I hit it further, I'd say, than average, at least for pros and guys trying to make it on the PGA Tour, it's been the cause for some great rounds for me. It's been the cause for some terrible rounds. I believe when I was doing my Korn Ferry Q School this year, the stage that I made it out of was incredible. It was awesome. I maybe lost one shot for one of the rounds, but for the round that I didn't make it out of, I had one of the holes right there, and it was a mental lapse kind of hole. It was, out of bounds left, water right. I don't know what I'm doing, and I think on that hole for 4 rounds, I hit 9 tee shots, and so it was just it's boom or bust. And so 2026, my mission is to make driver the weapon. My mission is to make it just be like, this is what it's all about. This is what I'm working on, and it's going to be the weapon. So let's transition into, we're talking about what are the 4, we're going to dive in through 4 simple, effective, time efficient, long lasting improvements for your driver. Okay. I'm going to name 2. Isaac's going to name 2. The first one is our confidence and our mental approach and how we can be better with that with our driver. And so in this 4-part series, we're going to be covering all the clubs, but with today being the driver, I feel like it's super important to talk about how we can structure our tee shots and off the tee the most. And obviously, we want to have confidence. And confidence comes from self-belief, but it's boosted based on the things that we've done in the past. So past performance, they can lead to what our future expectations can be. And so therefore, in order to feel confident off the tee, in order to shape how we feel about the future, our future tee shots, or what we're going to be doing with tee shots, we need to have some structure. And I think pre-shot routine is the perfect way that we can have some awesome structure. Okay. Your pre-shot routine is going to be specifically tailored to you. But what we got to do is we got to practice it on the range so that it becomes repetitive. It becomes something that we can lean and rely on. We got to think about all the things that go into it, because it's about a 20-second thing, but we got to think about what goes into it. When we're behind the ball, what are we doing? We got to look at our target, focus on our target. We got to pick out our left boundary, our right boundary. And then when we get over the ball, where are we looking? Are we looking up and just looking into oblivion, or are we looking up and actually looking at the thing that we're aiming at? Okay, so number 1, confidence mental approach, but that's going to be anchored by our pre-shot routine.
One thing I'll add to the pre-shot routine is we need to make this low friction.
Yeah.
I want to make it as simple and as short as possible, because that means I'm going to be able to follow it, and I'm going to be able to follow it every time. So as you're building that out, if that's something, or if you're refining your pre-shot routine, let's keep that in mind. Low friction, really easy to do. Next thing, now we're over the ball. We've gone through our pre-shot routine. The temptation to get up there and wail at it and swing fast is really high. 2 quick things on this. The distinction between tempo and speed, they are somewhat linked, but not directly. So what we want to be creating the most amount of speed in our swing at the golf ball, and it's going to feel like we're creating the most amount of speed after the golf ball.
Yeah.
So we're trying to create speed through the golf ball, and that can be done with a Freddie Couples tempo or a John Rahm tempo. That's up to you to find the tempo that allows you to square the face the easiest. Number 2, when we swing faster than our natural tempo, our release pattern changes. And when your release pattern changes, you have to make adjustments so that you actually end up squaring the face up. When you change that release pattern, typically what happens is you end up hitting it with more spin, because you're having to change how quickly or how slowly that face squares up. General, I would say 80% of golfers is from what I've seen, that's what's going to happen, is you're going to add spin, therefore you're going to decrease carry.
Yeah.
For 20% of people, spin might drop, and that's your snap hook crowd. So let's keep our focus on nice, solid, smooth, repeatable tempo.
Yeah.
Square contact, and just let that ball fly. So when I'm talking about, like, I want to be able to swing as hard as I can, I'm talking about like speed. I'm talking about I want to be able to go speed-wise as fast, not tempo.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's fast back doesn't necessarily mean you need to go. It's going to equate to fast going through. Mm-hmm. I like that. Okay, so that was number 2. So number 1, pre-shot routine. Number 2, we're going to have great tempo. It's not about swinging faster. It's about swinging on tempo, which can absolutely lead to more speed. And then number 3, Okay, what we need to do is we need to change the way that we're hitting driver on the range. So the range is awesome and it's great. It's mostly set up for your irons. Okay, so there's flags out there. If you're at a nicer range or a nicer golf course, it has a green cutout. Maybe it even has a bunker set up there. But that's set up for your irons. You're not hitting a lot of drivers on to greens unless it's a extremely long par three or is a short par four you're trying to get it on. The most of the fairways that you're going to be hitting on is a fairway. It's got a bunker on one side, maybe it's tree line, there's water. And so what we need to do when we're on the range is and it's going to take some imagination, it's going to take some setup on your part, but to set up, imagine, create some boundaries that make a fairway on the range. Okay. And so the way that we can do that is by setting up a left boundary, setting up a right boundary. But when we do that, we also pick the targets in the flat or the spots where we want to aim at. So I'll make it really simple. When I go to my home course, there's lots of flags out there. There's tree lined because a couple of the holes, probably like your own golf course, maybe hole 10 runs parallel to the range or something like that. If you can create, and we're going to talk about a drill that I really like later on. You can create a stipulated left. This is where the rough is. This is where the rough is. Or you pick out a hole that you typically have tons of issues on. This is where the water is. If it goes in left of this flag or left of the range picker that's parked out there or left of this specific tree branch, then it's going in the water. That's how we can create some consistency. That's how we can create some, hey, let me simulate some pressure. Let me gamify my practice session so that it really gets me prepped and prepared for what the golf course is actually like. The golf course is very it's funny. We can do a lot of mechanical stuff on the range. We can't do a lot of, all right, let's simulate the game time. Let's simulate it right now. All right. So what we got to do is we got to have some creativity and try to do that on ourselves. So number 3, let's change the way that we're practicing driver on the range.
Yeah, and improving off the tee is obviously practicing it really well, but it's also understanding your tendencies. And part of that is understanding how to score without driver. So, to speak in general terms, one of my favorite ways to look at off the tee play is that you have 2 choices. You either get to swing confidently and take your chances that it's going to be a good result, or you can swing not confidently and know it's going to be bad. So part of that practice on the range is starting to just choose confidence. And I know that sounds unbelievably simple, but you have to learn how to lie to yourself. Yeah. Most of us already lie to ourselves about how good we are. So we might as well lie to ourselves off the tee, right? Like that's
exactly.
You've got to be able to convince yourself, all right, I'm picking this target, I'm going to swing confident, and I'm just going to accept whatever happens. Because a lot in golf is out of our control. And like we said earlier, being able to square up the face in like a millisecond is really difficult. So might as well choose confidence.
Yeah.
All that said, Hayden, how can we practice this? Like, can you give me like a specific drill or something that somebody can go use today?
Yeah. So obviously we just had 4 topics. There's different implementations for all of those. If it's a pre-shot routine, record yourself. Try to figure out, okay, what am I doing behind the ball? Do I like that? Do I want to change that? What am I doing over the ball? You might record yourself and see, holy cow, I stood over the ball for 20 seconds. A, no one wants to be that guy that slows everyone else down. But B, hey, there's 20 seconds worth of thoughts that are standing over the ball. That is not good. There's a lot of demons or negative things we could be telling ourselves during that 20 seconds. So if you record yourself, that's great. The drill that I like the most, and it goes to what I said second, in terms of building a fairway out on the range. It's a simple drill. It's actually on the Play Ready Golf app. And so if you don't have that app, go ahead, download it, or get ready to download it, because we'll be launching it here in a couple of months. But what we're going to be doing on that app is there's drills in there, and there's ways that you can practice and get better at golf. And so the drill that I really like on there is called Wide Fairway Finder. It tells you to take 10 golf balls and tells you to set up a 60-yard wide fairway. Now, why do we use 60-yard wide fairway? Typically, 60 yards is the average between your left boundary and your right boundary in terms of where the trouble is on a golf course. A 60-yard wide fairway is like, ooh, that'd be huge. But typically on a golf course, it's like left water or right trees are typically 60 yards apart, or a really penal bunker in the right trees are 60 yards apart. And so if we can set up 10 balls, you hit down that and you record, okay, of the 10 balls, how many did I get in that 60-yard wide fairway? You do it over time, you can really see A, your tendencies, and then B, it can really simulate some pressure. I had 5 last time. Holy cow. I'm at 5 right now. I got 2 balls left. I can beat that. I can do that. My hands are getting a little more sweaty. My heart's beating a little bit. And then you record yourself on top of it. You see, I missed those last 2. Well, why did I miss those last 2? I look at my recording. I swung so much more faster. I didn't even do my routine on shot number 10. Like, what's going on with that? So, look, if we're serious about our implementation, if we're serious, then we're going to put some urgency around it. We got to, in our drills, create some parameters, create some things that simulate what the actual golf course is like. Practice is so important, but we really can only get the benefits of learning and knowing what we're going to do on the golf course if we try to simulate what the golf course looks like, right?
Absolutely. You do not get better by doing easy things, and you don't learn anything by succeeding. So you've got to put yourself in a position to fail, and you've got to put yourself in a position to learn. And that's why I think, like what you just said, I mean, I love those kind of set drills where I'm going through my full routine. I'm keeping track of how many successful attempts I have, and I'm recording it too. Like, that's one of my favorite things to do now. I did a set of that. I'll probably be posting it on Instagram in a little bit, but like 10 drives to a certain smaller fairway, and you can very distinctly see my pre-shot routine and my tempo were different on a very bad shot in that set of 10.
Yeah.
And you just learn from that, right? Like, now I know,
Yeah.
okay, if I want to hit a good shot, I know that tempo is going to be incredibly important in that. So that's got to be part of my overall process, because that's what went wrong. Therefore, that's what needs to be fixed moving forward. So I think we're really excited about these drills.
Oh, yeah.
We're really excited about hopefully getting, if you're a beta tester of the app and you're listening to this, once again, thank you. Please continue using it. Submitting feedback to me, Isaac at playready.golf. If the app seems interesting to you, we've got an early sign up link that you'll get firsthand information. That'll be linked in the bio. That's on our website. Mid-March is what we'll be launching the app. We'll have a 3-week window where the app is severely discounted for life. And then, you can get signed up there. Go ahead and give these drills a try. I don't know, Hayden, you got any other parting thoughts for us?
Well, we just want to thank you. If you watched last week, thank you so much. That Goals podcast is super great. If you haven't listened to it, this is your first episode, go back and listen to it. Talked about goals. We talked about 2026, what goal setting should be like, and then also what our own personal goals were. So if you want to follow along with our own personal golf journeys, you can tag along on that. But yeah, guys, driver, such an important club. We know that off the tee can really jumpstart and kickstart the round, especially hole 1. You stripe it, first shot of the day. Oh, I don't know if there's a better feeling.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Well, thanks again for listening. Remember, time is limited. Waste nothing. Play ready golf.
See ya.
All right. Let's